The first question we should ask why we need to build a bridge between youth and politicians. And I believe that it's because it's mutually beneficial cooperation. Politicians work today, they work on their policies, but this is the policies for future generations. And here, youth voices and views could be really complementary. Politicians should listen to our voices. They should create platforms, exchange mechanisms in order to make youth voices heard. But also youth should take responsibility and be effective and energetic in conveying their messages to make this cooperation beneficial and effective.
From a global standpoint, I think one of the main democracy challenges is continued rising inequality. The data is pretty clear to show that rising inequality leads to a lack of faith, trust, and belief in the democratic process itself, and also leads to heightened political polarization. That's another trend and fact pattern that we see in a pretty pronounced way in my home country at this point in time. In terms of potential remedies to improve the situation, I think it's really incumbent upon young, creative, energetic people to inform themselves and then involve themselves in the lawmaking and policy implementation process. What we need at this point in time is that creativity and that energy of youth in order to implement systems that will have more equitable outcomes for future generations.
That's why, if I were a president, in order to strengthen democratic values, I would make sure that everyone has an access to quality education where they are taught the values of democracy, where they are taught how to be responsible citizen, and most important, have zero tolerance to corruption making our democracy weak.
A problem I see often is that they are not at the center of traditional politicians' strategies and are often left out of the conversation, which can cause apathy and a loss of a sense of purpose. So it is key to create an environment where that sense of purpose can flourish and to use the channels and means of communication the youth uses to engage with them. Everything starts in the corridors of the school. More emphasis should be put on building political interest through the curriculum, as well as youth-led initiatives within the schools.
The youth movements around the world, and in particular in Ukraine in the recent years, have proven that young professionals are key assets in promoting democratic change and building resilience. Thus, young professionals should be in continuous communication with the decision makers and should be included in institutions to close the gap between youth and their governments, to defend democratic changes around the world on all levels. Thank you.